Most explanations of social behavior are based on kin selection and inclusive fitness theories, but now three important Harvard scientists have shown that these theories have failed.
How have they failed?
The theories have contributed no new biological insights.
You have based the conclusion on just 3 papers, ignoring thousands of scientific papers. Also, the authors of the 3 papers that you have cited do not agree with your interpretation of their work.
It is not a general theory of evolution.
On the contrary, inclusive fitness is one way of expressing what was logically inherent in the neo-Darwinian synthesis since the 1930s.
Inclusive fitness theory requires a number of stringent assumptions, such as pairwise interaction.
No, it does not. It is as general as the genetical theory of natural selection itself.
It requires weak selection.
No, it does not.
It requires linearity and additivity.
No, it does not.
It requires special population structures.
No, it does not. None of these assumptions are required.
It fails to explain termites.
You are confusing the general theory of inclusive fitness with models of specific cases.
The theory of inclusive fitness only works in special cases.
That is simply not true. Inclusive fitness theory is the generalization of natural selection to account for traits that affect the fitness of other, related individuals.
Inclusive fitness arguments do not specify a model and are only intuitive.
That is true only of arguments in undergraduate textbooks. The literature is full of well-specified models.
Without a fully specified model, the results are misleading.
I agree. However, there are many such models. What is misleading is pretending that those models do not exist.
Also, Hamilton's rule almost never holds.
What do you mean?
I mean that something has to be greater than the cost-benefit ratio.
Right.
But that something is almost never relatedness.
What do you mean?
Well, it is not entirely clear, but what I think I mean is that it is not 1/2 for siblings, and so on. Rather, it depends on the details of the model.
Well, of course, but that was already known by people working in the field.
I mean it depends on things like the local scale of competition.
Yes, but that was already known.
But that is not the relatedness that is described in the textbooks.
No, but your paper was not written as a criticism of the way that relatedness is described in textbooks. It was written as an attack on the idea of inclusive fitness in general.
But I do not understand how the quantity that appears in Hamilton's rule can be called relatedness.
No, that much is clear. However, this is much like the case of Bill O'Reilly. Just because he does not understand what causes the tides, does not mean that no one understands what causes the tides. Similarly, just because you do not understand how relatedness is meant to be calculated and used, does not mean that no one understands it.
Also, we do not know of a single case where inclusive fitness effects were calculated exactly and then empirically verified.
That is not the way that evolutionary theory is used.
But we do not know of a single case where this has been done.
Exact fitness measurements are virtually impossible, and, to the extent that quantitative predictions can be made, those predictions have been made, and have been empirically verified.
But we do not know of a single case where the exact calculations have been tested.
How did this paper get published in Nature, anyway?
We are 3 important Harvard scientists who do important Harvard science.
Do you think that if the same paper had been submitted from a less prestigious university, it would have been published?
It would not have been submitted from a less prestigious and important university.
Why not?
If there were an important scientist who had written important science that was this important, that important scientist would have been at Harvard.
Why did the reviewers not tell the editors at Nature that the arguments in this paper were not correct?
Perhaps the reviewers all recognized that this was important science done by important Harvard scientists.
But more than 150 people, representing some of the biggest names in population genetics and social and behavioral evolution, have written to criticize the paper.
So?
Why were none of these people apparently consulted for their opinion on the article before it was accepted and published, when it seems that any reasonable review process should have included at least some of these people?
Perhaps the editors of Nature recognize the importance of getting reviews from people who recognize the value of important Harvard science being done by important Harvard scientists.
Yes, perhaps. This has been a Shoe Bucket production.